What's up everybody, Kame here. We're doing something a little different again. We're doing a tutorial video this time. I'm going to drop a video at the same time as this one, being more of a showcase where I show you EmuVR and move around and show you how to customize it and just what it looks like. What is EmuVR? It's a good question. It's kind of like a 80s or 90s nostalgic bedroom simulator is kind of like what I've been describing it as, where you customize a bedroom and it's got Retroarch as the back end. So you can put in all of your emulators and your ROMs and it turns them into 3D models of consoles and cartridges. You put in TVs with VCRs and posters on the walls of all your favorite bands from the 90s, and it's just a great old time. And I'm going to put instructions down in the description below. It's going to be very, very detailed instructions, as detailed as I can make them. You can follow me along as I'm talking if you like. So here we are on EmuVR's website, and you can see right here, the beta is live. We're ready to go. We can hop on in. It supports the Oculus Rift, Oculus Rift S, Oculus Link, HTC Vive, Valve Index, Windows MR, and it even works on a 2D monitor as long as you got Windows. You go down here, you see EmuVR will always be free, but if you want to support them, you can head on over to their Patreon, which is emuvr.net/donations. Here they tell you what all it's going to support. It supports 70 plus systems. Anything Retroarch will do, this thing will do. PlayStation, 64, GameCube, Dreamcast. The only thing is that they only have 3 consoles 3D modeled right now, and that is the PlayStation, the 64, and the Super Nintendo. All the other ones just show up as generic consoles. It still looks pretty, but it doesn't look like the one that came out, the one that we all know and love. Here we got the features. Some of them I know, some of them I haven't even got into yet. This is the best. Automatically search your ROM folders for games matching the label images, and then virtual cartridges and CDs with labels will just spawn into the room. It's like magic. Multiple virtual game consoles, arcades, I haven't got into that. Multiple screens, CRT, LCDs. If you look close, you can actually see me do this in the video. If you look real close at the screen, you can see all the red, blues, and greens. Watch 80s and 90s TV streaming, I haven't got into that yet. Read tons of video game magazines, I haven't got into that yet either. You can do whatever you want in the room and just load it up as if it never happened. I show that off in the video. Customize your room with posters on the walls using any image. It goes way beyond that. You can do the floors, the walls, the ceilings, the whole bit. Run as many games as you can, and obviously VR supported. And over here we got NetPlay. I haven't got into the NetPlay yet either. I think that's still early access. There's some cool stuff here with features that might be possible in the future. Old school PC running DOS and Windows 95. I think you can already do this. There's a way to do it. I don't know if it's with DOSBox or another way. I haven't really got into it yet. Synchronized TV watching with friends. Automatically download cart labels from our servers. That would be a heck of a time saver. Modding. In-game room creator. That'd be cool. In-game web browsing, print posters instantly for your walls. That would be a time saver too, though not as much as the labels. And sharing all those things with your friends. So let's get into how to actually install this guy. Scroll to the top, the beta is live. You know you'd like to participate. Click on that. This is already in the description if you wanted to skip clicking on that, but in case you didn't, here it is here. We're going to email this email address and we're going to ask to be beta testers. The developer will then send you an invite to their Discord server. If you don't already have one, you can create an account and download the 7-zip file. Then you're going to need to download a specific version of Retroarch. It's Retroarch 1.7.5 and the link is going to be down in the description. That's the link you're going to want to click on. That's the version you're going to want. You're going to want to use that one because it's a portable installation that it requires it to run, but it also won't conflict with any Retroarch installations you have on your computer elsewhere. Don't be doing something crazy like trying to copy your current Retroarch installation on your C drive into this folder and expect it's going to work, because it's not gonna. So once we have those 2 files, what do we do with them? Well, I got 2 folders open down here, one on the left, one on the right. The one on the left is it says EmuVR demonstration, but assume this is the installation folder. This is going to be C Games EmuVR. On the right, I have a drop folder. It has all the files I need to build this thing out. So this is going to be the file that you get emailed to you by the developers. So let's open that up. We're going to extract it into the EmuVR folder. right there. There it is there, but we're far from done yet. So now let's open up the Retroarch file that we got, and we're going to extract it also into the EmuVR folder, but then in there's a Retroarch folder. We're going to extract it right into there. Alright, now anybody who's into this kind of thing knows that some of your consoles need BIOS files to work. Mainly the PlayStation, the Dreamcast, the Sega CD. We're going to take those files, and you're going to have to find them on your own. I can't tell you where to find them. That's a no-no. We're going to take those files, select all please, and copy them into the EmuVR folder, subfolder Retroarch, subfolder system. Okay, so we actually have enough now that we can actually launch EmuVR and see what it looks like before we add any customization to it. Alright, it's a little dark in here. Let's turn some lights on. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is the bare bones. There is no game consoles, there is no shelves lined with cartridges, there's no posters on the wall, there's not even cool paint job or wallpaper, there's nothing. But this is what it looks like. This is your menu. You can see systems. I got nothing in there right now. So we need to get some games in there. So let's go back a directory in my drop folder into games. Now, you can put up to 300 ROMs into EmuVR. That's the limitation on it right now. And when I say ROMs, I'm pretty sure what it means is all forms of media. So if you have movies in there, that comes off the 300 as well. So what you need to do is create a new folder for each console. You can name them however you wish. You can see I've got them named such. And that's the reason I named them that is because of Hyperspin. That's the way Hyperspin likes them to be named. But the main thing is however you name them, you got to remember, because there's going to be other parts of the installation that's going to call back on that folder with the same name. It has to match up. If you try to go over the 300 game threshold, EmuVR will crash on startup. ROMs will also work inside of subfolders, and files can be compressed as long as they're in zip or 7-zip format. But your disk-based games have to be in bin and queue format. Can't be zipped up, can't be ISOs. You see I have a video folder here. That is for movies and TV shows. If you want to have the VCR with Transformers or Tales from the Crypt or whatever playing, you need a video folder. And MP4s, AVIs seem to work for me. No problems yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy all these and we're going to drop them into the games folder, the EmuVR games folder. You can ignore all that and just copy them on in. I want to copy them, not move them. So now we need to tell EmuVR that we've dropped some ROMs in there and it needs to scan them and create consoles inside the environment. To do that, we're going to go to this game scanner folder inside the EmuVR folder. And we're just going to double click on game scanner. This is going to come up. The Retroarch patch has been applied successfully. You can click OK on that. First thing we're going to want to do is update the core list. It's got this little asterisk next to it. It's got a little asterisk next to it. And every time you've changed something, you need to change that. You need to run this. That's all it takes. And then click this attempt autofill button. And then autofill. No new folder was detected. But sometimes they are. Then I go save changes. And then I go download missing cores. This is going to drop the cores into Retroarch. Okay. And then scan games for EmuVR. So now if we hop into the room, this is what we got. It's dark in here though. Let's turn the lights on. There we go. It's pretty barren. There's not much going on. We do have our consoles though. We got our VCR, we got our 64, we got our Super Nintendo, and we got our PlayStation. Actually, there's a few of them around. That's what you're going to find. If we bring up the menu button, they're already in there. It's already imported them into the game. But the games themselves, they're just generic. Look at this. They look cool, like the cartridges look awesome, but there's no labeling on them. So we need to go back out and we need to put our labels in. Okay, so let's open up our two Explorer windows here again. On the left we have the EmuVR installation folder, and on the right I have my drop folder, and in here I have my labels. Where the labels are going to go? They're going to go in custom under labels, and in here you need to create a folder with the exact same name, spelling, and everything as the folders that you created in the EmuVR Games folder. So whatever you put in here has to match what is in here exactly. Right? So let's do that. Now, I already have them from a previous installation, so I've already done the hard work. And speaking of hard work, this is the most labor-intensive part of the whole process. Not so much if you're only adding a few games, but if you're going to go for hundreds, like I did, then yeah, it gets to be a little tricky. So you're going to copy the image files into these folders. Now, again, if you have hundreds of ROMs that you're inputting into this, the easiest method I've found to do it, and there might be easier, if there is, please let me know. The easiest method I found was to use the hyperspin method. So I used the same process that I went through to get my labels for hyperspin as I did for this. So to do that, what you need to do is you're going to go on the web and you're going to go here to hyperspin.fe.com and you're going to create an account with them. It's free, you know, just sign up, fill out your whatnot, and away you go. Then you also need to set up an account with Emu Movies. This one is not free. They charge $20 per month or $60 for a lifetime membership. So I'll leave that up to you. It saves a lot of time, but it doesn't save a whole lot of time. It's kind of a judgment call. Then after you get all of those, you're going to go here. This is on the Hyperspin forums. This is a little program called hypersync.3.5.0.32. I don't know why it's there twice, but that's what we want. We want hypersync. I'll put all these links down in the description. I'm not going to go into how to get hypersync working because that is a whole nother process in and of itself. There are tutorials out there though. I can't remember the name of the channel that I looked at to get mine working because I had to watch a tutorial myself, but I know it's out there. But basically what it does is you input your Emu Movies subscription into Hypersync, and you also point it towards the directory where your ROMs are located, and it scans your ROMs and name matches them against Emu Movies database and then downloads the media from their site. It's not just cartridges, by the way. If you wanted to do it, you can. There's also a gameplay video, there's box art, etc., etc. But even then, the hard work's not done. The image that you will download from Hypersync, from Emu Movies actually, will look like this, which this is not what we want for EmuVR. EmuVR only wants the label. It doesn't want the entire picture of the cartridge. So I literally had to go in and crop out the label on each and every one. Once your labels are done and ready, you copying them into the labels directory inside of folders correctly named to match the directory names in EmuVR/games. This is what they're going to end up looking like at the end of the day. Something like that. Now if we launch EmuVR and we come in here, we bring up the menu. You can see the systems are there, and if we go into the cartridges, now they actually have proper labels. Looking pretty good. PlayStation, all labeled out. Everything looks good. SNES. Some of them are actually already sitting around the systems. If you come in here and they are not in the menu, don't panic. Just go back out into the EmuVR directory and run the game scanner again, and go through the same process that we did before, just re-adding them to the system. Alright, let's tackle the posters now. The posters are kept in the EmuVR folder in the custom folder in posters. Now what we want to do here, there's a couple of samples in here, but we want to go into examples, and we just want to Control A, everything, copy it, and then go back a directory to the posters directory and paste it. And I want to replace the ones that exist. I'm going to maximize this so you can see what I'm talking about a little bit better here. This gives you a good idea of the shape of the images that you're going to be looking for on the internet, whether Google Images, DuckDuckGo, Bing Images, whatever it is. In terms of location in the room, I'll show you a little clip right now. You can see in the room where they are. They basically go, 1 to 31, I think it is, all the way across the room. Some are big, some are small, in various locations. This is where they are right now. This could change at any time. So it's a little time consuming, but it's also very simple. All you really need to do is you go to the internet, you search for an image, you find an image that is about the size, or not so much the size, but more the shape of what you're looking for. And you want a high quality image, and you're going to save it to this directory, and you're going to overwrite whichever poster it is that you want to replace. So if you want it to be, over the bed, you're going to save that image to this directory, and you're going to save it as 01 and replace this existing file. I already have some queued up from my own installation, so I will just hop into mine. This gives you an idea. This is all my posters from my room. So I'll Control A, I'll take out the 2 samples in the example folder because I don't need to do all that, and I don't want to move it. I want to copy, paste, and replace. Now let's launch EmuVR and see what it looks like. Okay, let's turn on the lights first of all. I guess I'm responsible and I turn off the lights every time I leave the room. So we can see all my posters are set up. Right, it's all looking good. Some of them are small, some of them are big. The ones that are smaller, I like to have like little magazine cutouts, like the Nintendo Power. There's the Zelda map, and from issue 1 of Nintendo Power, the Super Mario 2 stuff. But you can do whatever you want. But this is what it should look like by this point. Okay, for the wallpaper, ceiling, and flooring, we're going to hop into the custom folder, and then into miscellaneous, and then examples. I'm going to change the view to file details and maximize it so I can see what I'm working with here. So I'm going to want to grab the ceiling.png file, the ceiling.txt file, and we're also going to grab the floor.png file, floor.txt file, and the wallpaper.png file and the wallpaper.txt. And we're going to copy those, and we're going to go back a directory to EmuVR custom miscellaneous, and we're going to drop them in here. So right now your room would have these textures. If we change it back to large icons, we can see the ceiling would be this gray color, the floor would be this hardwood, and you can't really tell what the wallpaper is, but it's a beige color. So to change that, you're going to go on the internet, say, and you're going to download images that you want in the room, what you want for wallpaper, what you want for floors, and what you want for ceilings. you're going to need these files to be in a .png format. You can use an online JPEG to .png converter. That'll work just fine. That's what I did. And you're going to copy those files into this directory, overwriting the ones that exist, the wallpaper, the floor, and the ceiling. The name has to be exactly the same. If it's a little bit off, it won't work. I've already done it, so I'm just going to hop into my build folder here and grab the ones that I've already done. The ceiling I left the same, I didn't change it. The floor, I like this orange shag carpet. And my wallpaper, I liked this Starfield kind of looking thing. It's what I actually had when I was a kid. I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to paste them, and I'm going to replace. Alright, let's hop into EmuVR, see what that looks like now. Okay, it's getting there. It's looking better, but I still see problems. The floor itself, it looks like it's lava. It doesn't look like orange shag carpeting from the 80s. And the wallpaper, the pattern's too dense. It's not stretched out one strip for the whole length of the wall the way I want it. Okay, so let's hop back into our EmuVR folder. And we're already in the miscellaneous folder. And I want to edit the floor text file. Just with your text editor, and I'm going to change this tiling X and Y. So I just want to make it a little bit denser, and you're going to have to play around, get the numbers you like. I'm going to try for 9 on both and see how that looks. And then for my wallpaper, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to edit the wallpaper text file, and because I want that to go full floor to ceiling, I know that I'm going to change the X and Y to 1. I'm going to do that and save. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the examples folder, and I'm going to grab ceiling emissive. I'm going to copy that and then go back to EmuVR /custom /miscellaneous, and I'm going to paste it in there. Alright, now let's hop into EmuVR and see what everything looks like. That's better. The carpet is more dense and the wallpaper is less dense. That's exactly what we were going for. I think that looks like carpeting to me now. And now if I turn out the lights, that's better. That's more like it. Alright, now all we need to do is take care of this bedding. I got this Saved by the Bell bedding that I don't want. The bed sheet and the pillow are pretty much handled the same way as the walls and the floors and the ceilings. We're going to go into EmuVR, into custom, and then into miscellaneous. And we're going to go into examples, and we're going to grab bedsheet.png, bedsheet.txt, and pillow.png, and pillow.txt. We're going to copy them. We're going to go back a folder to the miscellaneous, and we're going to paste them in there. There they are. Now hop onto the internet, grab yourself an image of whatever you like. Make sure it's either a PNG or use an online image converter to convert it from JPEG to PNG, and then copy it to this directory, overwriting bedsheet and pillow. Make sure the naming is exactly the same or else it won't work. I've already done that, of course, so I'm just going to grab it from my drop folder. Got my pillow, and I got my bedsheet. And I'm going to copy them and paste them into the miscellaneous folder. And replace. And we'll hop back into EmuVR and see how that looks now. And there we go. There's our bed. Set up with Masters of the Universe poster and our Return of the Jedi bed sheet. This grid-like pattern can be edited in the text file of the bed sheet, bed_sheet.txt file. And you edit it, you just change the Y and the Z, same the way that we did with the wallpaper and the flooring. And it will change the grid-like pattern. You can make them small little patches like a quilt, or you can make it one-to-one. Well, that's about it for this tutorial, but I want to give you one more tip before we go, and that's to create 2 saved games. It takes a lot of time to set this up, like you're filling out your room and you're stacking your games and you're putting everything in place just the way you want it. you want to balance this one on here real careful, like, for some reason. You just want to do something like that, and then you go to grab this TV and you knock everything out, and all of your hard work is down the drain. Or you go to load a room and you accidentally click save, or clear maybe even. How many times have you done that in a game where you've worked real hard and you accidentally save over a save file? You know, it's the worst. It's the worst possible thing that can happen. So for something like this that takes that long to set up, do yourself a favor, create 2 save files of your finished room. Even as I was working on it, I was keeping 2 save files on the go. I would save to this one, and then I'd save to that one, and then I'd save to this one until I had it the way I wanted, and then I saved it under both. But I guess we'll leave it here. That's about it for this tutorial. I hope it actually helped you out and gets you going and gets this running for you. I'm loving it myself. It's a great program. The developers are awesome for even thinking of this idea, let alone enacting it. So, see you later.